nobody said not to say anything and this and that, but, you know, it's something that you need to work for and work towards. And, you know, if you're granted it, then you don't really talk about it. You know, he said you look at like Einstein and all these people that Tesla and everything, and they all kind of mention it, but they don't come out and say it.
Exactly. It's always subtle. It's
very subtle. And if you look,
I say the same thing to my husband. I'm like, they've been putting it in our face our entire lives. We just haven't seen it. You know?
Yeah, it's got to hit us.
The white writing has always been there. We just never looked up to see it, you know?
Well, and the one thing he's really interested in now is the Egyptians. And if you look at some of that stuff, it's, you know.
Actually, the pyramids are what led me down the path to the Palladians. Because,
really?
Yeah, because I was, I just went down, oh my, you're going to laugh so hard when I tell you this. So about a year and a half or so ago, what led me like completely like full force, like down the alien, if you will, path, like the starseed, is I was at my uncle's house and he was watching this History Channel documentary about aliens and blood types.
Okay.
And I have O negative blood. And the claim, now if you can actually research this, if you research Rh negative blood types, there's factually no information on why our blood is negative.
Yeah, there's no way it's possible for it to be here on the planet Earth.
There's no scientific real reason why 15% of the population has negative blood. So I, of course, my brain, I kind of started obsessing and I went down this hole, and it was like, if you've ever watched The Secret, in the beginning when she was like, I was given this book, and then it shows her like just going crazy, like into all these things, that was literally me. Like I related so much watching that. I was like, that is totally what happened to me. I went right down and I just kept going. And my husband, I was joking, I was like, I hope I'm not the alien. I'm like, are we gonna get split up? Because my kids and my husband are positive blood. And I'm as a negative blood mother, all right, you cannot have a child with a positive person without some sort of medical interference. I had to get the Rogam shot. You have to get a shot when you're negative if your partner is positive.
Because your body will reject the baby.
Yes, your body will reject the baby.
The blood does not mix. Like,
yes.
It will not.
Like years and years ago, like you can research this, but there was like a queen and a king, a royal family who they had like 13 children that died. And they they had like all these miscarriages, and then the children that they actually had didn't end up making it. So she had like a loss of like 13 children altogether. And all I could think, like, she must have been negative and he must have been positive, because it is like without medical intervention, it's a miracle if you have a baby with negative blood with a positive partner. So, wow. And I had two, and they were born on the same day.
I know this.
That goes back to I watched this show on Discovery Channel also, where this guy was trying to figure out whether he was alien descendant or not, and he was going back to blood types and seeing, like you were saying, the 15% of people, the blood types, that they can't explain where it came from, or how all these people have all these features that kind of match, but they don't match anybody else, and they can't relate them to ancestors or any lineage that goes back into time. Like they're all on their own, and they just showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
So I got another question or story, and I'll post it on our little chat thing. But
cool.
Basically, on my uncle's or cousin's ranch up in Idaho, it's on the California Trail, there's these kind of like, they're about 30-foot high cliffs or 20-foot high, so they're not real big, kind of sandstone, and there's this alien head carved in it.
Nice.
And they've had all the universities out there. Everybody's looked at it. Nobody can figure out, there's a lot of obsidian scraps up on top of the hill where, the natives probably, made their obsidian arrowheads and all that stuff, because you'd find them all around, I guess, when my dad was younger. But it's basically the California Trail where, Donner and all those people went through, and everybody carved their name in it. But there's this giant alien head up on the top, and I'll post it.
That's awesome.
See if you guys have seen it.
What company hits on it? That's cool.
Right?
So interesting.
There's like so much you can find about aliens, but you know, it was like drilled in our head to think that anybody who thought they saw aliens was like crazy, and then it but then you think about it, and to think that, you know, amongst all the living things that they haven't even discovered all the living things on Earth. If there's that many unexplored things, and then to think of how many more, like an ant walking on her leg, you know, there's so many millions, thousands of insects, and so to think that we're the only living species that is
We're an
in
arrogant,
this universe is
arrogant
just
people.
ridiculous. It's just a lie somebody decided to put in our head, you know. So then you think of it that way, and then it's not as crazy.
Designed that way. They didn't decide. It was designed that way so that we didn't know, so that we couldn't raise our vibrations and we can't take over. But
Right.
now they have no choice. So
Right.
I can't wait to see what the next 10 years are going to bring on this planet. Like, I'm super excited. I'm a little like, I'll be honest, like there is a part of me that's a little nervous because, you know, there's going to be the bad with the good. But I mean, there's going to be a lot of challenges, but I mean, overall, I'm like, so
Great.
not to go to the reverse, but with all the things that have been going on within the planets and the stars in the past year, my husband read me this article yesterday. 48,000 people have committed suicide from last year to this year. And I am convinced. Like, what I want to know, first of all, is why that's not considered an epidemic, but the measles are. And then the second thing I would like to know is why, if all of these people have committed suicide, why are they not talking about this? Why? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you
Population control, maybe?
Exactly.
Exactly. And I've had five kids and 6 pregnancies, and never ever once have I heard them say, oh, if you're a negative blood type, which I'm not,
Right.
but they've never said to me, oh, if you're a negative blood type, you have to have certain medicines to make the baby survive. And then it makes you go, well, why aren't they telling me that?
I was tested with my first pregnancy. I was tested, but it wasn't actually like a, hey, we need to test you because of this and this and this. It was just standard. And
right.
Yeah, I wasn't.
So the reason they don't tell you that, and I'll be honest with you, in 2012 when I had my son, they did not tell me why I was getting the shot. They just said, okay, you're this far along, you need to get this RhoGAM shot. It wasn't until Harmony with my daughter that I actually knew why I was getting the RhoGAM shot. And I said, can you please explain to me, you know, what this is about? Because I'm the only one of my friends that had to do this. And she's like, oh, well, you know, and she explained it. And the way she explained it, she omitted words, and she did not relay it to me in a way where it was like, oh, well, you know, because the baby will die if you don't get this. It was like, oh, you have to get the shot. It's part of the procedure, yada, yada, yada. And it was my research that on my own that made me realize what was going on. Like, I had known about my negative and positive blood thing, but it wasn't until a couple years after my son was already born. And because he was 7 weeks early, my friend says, do you know that your blood type could be part of that? And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, you're negative and he's positive. That could be why your baby was early. And I was like, I didn't know that. And then she told me, this was a couple years after my son was born. So then I did, you know, all the stuff I did on my own. And when I actually asked the nurse and the doctors, why am I getting this shot? Can you please explain to me in words why I need this? They never once explained it in the way I just did. They omitted words, and the way they presented it was just like, it's standard. You just need to get this, you know. So I don't trust. I mean, it's not that I don't trust people within the medical society, because I believe that most doctors and nurses want to help.
Right.
But within the government-funded hospital, they can only do so much, you know. So, and they only know so much, and the books that they're given, they firmly believe. And I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I'm like, we only know what they allow us to know.
Right.
So, I mean, I question everything. Everybody's like, well, what do you mean you don't trust anybody? And I was like, nope. I don't trust anybody. I have to do my own research and feel it in my stomach that it's the right decision.
Well,
Right?
all too often, they always come back and say 20 years later, "Oh, this is Monsanto."
Yeah.
You know, Monsanto in their Roundup is causing chemotherapy issues
Yeah.
or blood cancers.
Leukemia
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh no, it's perfectly fine for you. You know.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, by the way,
But
y'all
here,
are gonna die now.
but here,
Sorry.
take this vaccine so you don't die. And you know, who cares about all the chemicals?
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's so contradictory, and I feel like the problem within society that we've just accepted all of this for so long.
Right. Oh, this is the way it is.
Not anymore.
Really, really quick, my daughter is nagging me to let her show you guys her crystal. She's
Okay.
had this
See
a
that one?
couple years now. She wants to show you. I have no idea what it is. Pink.
It looks like a gate or G or
Yeah, it
whatever.
looks like it's dyed agate or agate, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. We got it at Cave of the Mounds in Wisconsin a couple years ago.
I've got one like it too.
Pretty. Yep, that's similar. Yep.
Yeah.
I have one on a necklace.
Pretty.
I like them because they're smooth. They're relaxing. I hold them between my palms.
I need to raise my vibration. Right? Makes me just want to do nothing. I got a chunk of selenite. Like, I need to make a hat of it. I need to be one of those people. Instead of the foil hat, a selenite hat.
Oh, yeah. Or instead of like,
On Etsy, you can find crowns and tiaras that are made of gemstones and stuff. They're really pretty. And
Yeah?
yeah, they're really, really pretty. People hand make them.
Cool.
I'm going to make I don't know what the third eye kind of headpieces.
Yeah.
I'm going to work on making some of those. So we'll see how it goes.
Show us your work.
I will.
So you have a little shop, Pam, right?
It's online, but I do all my stuff here. Yeah. Once we get, so my plan is to just kind of build our online. Like, we have 3 different business sites, obviously you can see, but our plan is to get a brick and mortar and have an actual store, but we're going to be traveling in the bus for at least 2 years. So I'm just trying to build the online, do everything that I can do from online. And the thing about the online, the only downfall is it's gifts and thrift, because I was going to be selling hand-me-down items and things like that. The problem is right now I don't have a way to send out paper items because I haven't found, I tried to use stamps, but it was deceiving because it makes you believe that you are going to pay a one-time fee and then you can pay your postage. You actually have to pay postage on top of the monthly fee, which I didn't realize. Once I get to a higher volume, I'll probably do that, but right now I'm just not there yet. So online store, everything's online. I've taken over the house with my jewelry and my my husband's like, I have this one little space here. I don't know how much more room I can give you. So and we're gonna be moving into a bus soon, so it's gonna be fun. I'm actually really excited about it. My husband, he's really good at putting a lot into a small space, so it'll be cool.
That is cool. I can't wait till you guys make it to Kansas.
I know. And we met these cool kids, these cool younger crowd last night. They were from Erie, Pennsylvania, and we're from upstate New York, so not far away from our hometown. And they're like, "Oh, you gotta come visit us." And I was like, "Well, we're gonna be living on a bus soon." And they're like, "Are you serious? That's so cool." They're like, "You can park it in our driveway."
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, "Cool," because we're gonna need that.
That is. Okay. You guys ready?
I'm gonna mute myself here.
All right, give me just a second. I didn't come prepared today, you guys. Sorry. Ooh, it's hard. Got me a cup of tar.
Hey, Kelsey.
What's up?
Do you think you could give us your background information with like the Akashic records, like how long you've been working with them, or like your experience with them, maybe a little bit?
I've honestly only dabbled in it just a tiny bit. I do not have extensive knowledge with the Akashic records. I'm not extremely experienced with the Akashic records. What I was going to talk about today was just the research that I have done here recently. Akashic records are something that is fairly new. The term is fairly new to me, so I haven't been studying it for years or something like that. The reason I wanted to have the Zoom class for the Akashic records is just so that collectively we could come together and have like a group conversation about it. And I'll just kind of tell you my experience, the limited experience I have, and what I have researched about it. But to be honest, I am not an expert in Akashic records.
Have you accessed them?
Huh?
Have you accessed them?
Yeah, a couple times.
Okay.
A couple times I have. Honestly, I haven't really had a strong desire to access them though, from my personal standpoint. I know there's reasons why people would want to. You're going to want to go in and get healing or try to find more purpose to your soul's journey, things like that. But honestly, I'm really satisfied with where I'm at right now and at the speed that my soul's journey is going, where I'm at. And I know there's more to learn, but I'm really content with where I'm at as a person and my growth right now. So I haven't really had a desire to want to increase my growth, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So the times that I have gone, it's been purely by accident and hasn't been intentional. But it was a phenomenal experience. It really was. But I really don't have a personal desire to look into any of that yet. I'm really happy with where I'm at. And I know that when it's my time, when Spirit wants me to dive into that and to learn more, then they'll show me that way. They'll open up that door for me like they did the couple times. The first experience that I had, honestly, I'll tell you, it was a little glimpse of a past life that I had. And I was open and I was willing to receive the information that I got. And it kind of showed me, and I talked to Pam about this, it had shown me that I was some sort of like priestess or goddess or something. So what I saw was the lifetime that I was in, it was like it was like 1800s or something. But it was another dimension. It wasn't here on Earth that I was experiencing. And I was on a miniature horse, like a horse of different colors. The Charlie in the Chocolate Factory horse? It was that horse. That's what the horse looked like. And I was riding on this horse and everything was gold plated and gold. And like the dimension I was in was just bright and vibrant and just gold. It was just like everything was gold plated. And my hair was gold. Anyway, I go into this like building and everything's like, we're all dressed like 1800s, but everything's gold. And I go into this building and I get on this elevator and I go down the elevator. And when I come off, I see my husband. The husband that I have in this reality was my husband in another dimension. Right? And he looked exactly the same, except he was all gold plated and it was
smiled and
everything was just gold plated. But the information that I gained from it was that I'm in the place that I need to be. I'm in like this purpose that I need. Yeah.
Did you look her up? This is Athena.
Oh, that's Athena? I did, but I didn't really read it or anything. I just kind of scrolled through images and then I got lost in Pinterest world.
It's just when you give me that, every time, it's the second time I heard that description, and every time that's what I feel, Athena. I don't know why. It's just, I feel like that's what you're describing. I don't know.
Right on. Well, maybe she was Athena. I know it was not this dimension though. Like it wasn't this world. It was not this world.
Well, let's like go. You know how we were talking last week about the Pleiadian Queen thing.
Mm-hmm.
They told me that I was my soul when my first human existence, if you will, went into Freya. That's what they told me. And I don't, again, this is very hard for me to believe, but I mean, it makes sense because if I read this description on Freya and it resonated to a level that I can't even explain. I was like, holy shit, this is me. And I don't even know if I like to admit it, because she was like this, she was this loving fertility, like love and war. So she was like pretty much the divine, like nature or whatever. And then, but basically it said like she was very generous and with her giving, but she also expected the reciprocation. And if not, her wrath would be seen. And I'm like, I looked at my husband and he was like, yeah, that sounds like you. But anyway, I don't know. That's just what, every time you've described it, that's what I think of. So.
It was cool. I don't know. I think it was just signifying that I have been with him before, maybe. I'm not really sure what the dream was or the experience was meant to be, but they just told me, they said, don't forget to tell him about the first one. So there was a first time. I was 13 years old. And I remember that I had gone to sleep that night. When I talk about Akashic a little later, I'll tell you kind of like how you enter your Akashic records, but I'll give you an idea of what I'd seen. So I was asleep, but I wasn't actually asleep. I entered the Akashic records. And try to imagine this. So I'm out, okay, so imagine I'm in outer space, right? And I'm standing in this long hallway of outer space. So all around me, it's just like celestial. There's stars. I'm just out in outer space, right? And to my left, I see boxes. They're like crystal boxes, and inside each box is a different lifetime, right? And inside each of these lifetime, there's this like table with there's a table with like papers laying on them, right? Sort of like this, but they're infinite. Like they're really, gosh, it's so hard to explain. It's nothing that you can actually see in this reality. So it's really hard to describe into something that would make sense. But it was like this table, and it had papers, and it was the blueprints of my life, right? It was everything that my life has experienced and is going to experience for each individual lifetime. And it's all on my left side. And they're telling me, and it's almost like there's this voice in the sky is telling me, like God's telling me, but it's like in my head. So I guess it'd be like clairaudient voice is telling me, but it's this booming woman voice. And she's telling me about each lifetime, how I can go in and I can access each lifetime that I want to. And what I'm gaining from this is that when I'm not physically in my human experience, I can choose which box I want to go into. Does that make sense? So I got this long row of these boxes and I get to choose which life I want to go into. And what I learned from this is that you can select while you're in this human experience, you can come out of your body like astral projection almost, and you can go into these Akashic records or whichever record you want to, and you can experience any lifetime that you want to. I haven't gone past this, but I have been shown that you can do this, that when you go into a deep meditation and when you want to access these records, you get to go in and you get to choose which experience you want to go into. So you get to choose which record you want to go into and see what's contained inside each record. Does that make sense for you guys? Does that make sense for you, Olivia?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that was my experience with the Akashic records. I was 13 and it was purely by accident, and it's just stuck with me ever since. But that was what it looked like to me. And I've heard many people say similar things of like how it looks like that to them, or it looks like a great hall or like a great library. Most people have very similar experiences, very similar images. And it's really, I hope I explained it clearly enough to you guys. Did I?
Have you ever seen Bruce Almighty?
Huh?
Have you ever seen the movie Bruce Almighty? When
yeah.
Jim Carrey, he's talking to God, and they're like in the like office, and he's making them do the
Filing
janitor work, and the filing cabinet opens, and it's like
yes.
the same thing that comes pushing
yeah,
up.
like that, but a table.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, but a table, like a grand table that you would see at like a castle for a king or something. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watch the show Supernatural, but
I used to.
on like the last couple seasons, they have a how does that go, honey? The Reaper comes and brings Sam and shows him like this library that has like whenever anybody is supposed to die and stuff like that. So when people in group mentioned Akashic records, that's the first thing I thought of, is just seeing that library on there. But I don't know if I've ever seen any other show or movie that really is
Mentions
exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's hard to explain. It was just like being out in the universe. So imagine if you were to, when you're meditating, if your body was to come up off your bed and float up above the earth and out of the atmosphere, and then just be floating out in outer space, but not just floating, like you're in control of your movements, and then you float up to this like area that it's like, I don't know, like Harry Potter-ish? Is that a way? Like, yeah.
I told my son that I was like, you need to watch Harry Potter. He's like, why? I was like, because we can all do that.
Right?
He goes,
So it's like that. Like a
My
grand
mom's lost it.
ball. And it was made of crystal. Like if it was it was like made of like this. Like the walls are made of like selenite almost. Like the look of selenite. But they were like cubes. And then you could go into each one. I chose not to go into
mine were doors. I had like a hall of doors.
Yeah.
But it was a guided meditation that I did for my past life.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've only gotten into one, and that was the one where I was like a young princess. I'm guessing I was in like a castle, and I remember I could hear my heels on the like castle floors, and I went into like this bedroom, and I was like looking at myself. I don't remember what my face looked like, but I had like long curly hair, blonde hair, and I remember I was like looking for my parents, and in the meditation, I kept going, Mom, Dad, because I felt like I was the child, and I was looking for my parents, but I never found them. And then the next thing, I was in this like carriage going to a wedding, and then everything just went crazy. I felt like I was gonna get sick. I had to come out of it. It's a little nuts, but I did that by myself, and I felt like I maybe wasn't prepared for that yet at that point. So I haven't done anything yet. So I'm excited about that.
They won't let you in. That is a key point. If you're not ready for it, you will not get access to it.
So the second time that I went in, I did a different meditation. Well, it was kind of a similar meditation, but I opened the door. And when I opened the door, it was just solid black. It was nothing. So that to me was my sign, like, you're not ready yet, sweetie. Like, you're not ready to come in this door. So I'm cool with that, because I don't want to see anything I'm not ready for sure.
Oh. Cool.
I wonder if it's any, like, I think, is it similar to past life regression? Like, I don't know. I've ran into studies from the Dolores Cannon, and then she has like this hypnosis that was bringing people into past life regression, and I guess, I don't know a lot about it, but she was able to heal certain people. So it makes me wonder if it's a similar thing with the Akashic records, where if you are going into there and stuff, you can receive healing by seeing your life as a whole or whatever. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is. It is very similar. It's very similar, because the Akashic records hold the record of everything that you've ever experienced, your soul has ever done. So past life regression is you going into past life, a record of a life that you've lived previously. So you're basically accessing a record of your soul. So the Akashic records. The name Akashic is, it's just from that Sanskrit word, Akasha, meaning the ethereal realm. So it's meaning like the library, the hall, whatever, or like the book of life that the Bible talks about in heaven. So there's many different terms for it. So when you talk about past life regression, you're having somebody help you do a guided meditation to do past life regression. It's essentially you allowing, in your spirit team, allowing somebody else to come in and help you do it, since you're not able to do it on your own yet. Does that make sense? But they're not going to be able to access everything that you could access. Yeah.
Before I got Reiki certified, I was actually going to get certified with the QHHT through Dolores Cannon's school. But it is very, very costly. And I decided, okay, I can probably learn this on my own once I get Reiki certified. And I just figured that I would go down that kind of by myself until I was at a point where if later on, if I feel like I can afford the money that it costs, I probably will do that, because I want to learn hypnosis. I want to be able to put people into hypnosis, but that's far down the line.
There's a school in Arizona called the Southwest Institute of Healing Arts, and a lot of their programs are online, and they have a hypnosis program, and it's covered by financial aid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was going to do the program. It's a their clinical hypnotherapy program or practitioner program.
That's
that's awesome.
I've
Awesome.
done
Southwest
human
Institute of Healing Arts. They do all kinds of cool stuff. They have they do nutrition and Reiki and herbalism and hypnotherapy and all kinds of really cool stuff.
Awesome, Olivia. So when you go to that site, do you will it prompt if I want to sign up for a course or something, it will prompt you for a financial aid paperwork or something like that? Is it
Okay, well you're gonna need to fill out a FAFSA. So
Okay.
you're going to go to, FAFSA, their website, and do that and pick that school, Southwest Institute, and then you're going to apply for Southwest Institute on their website. But when you go on their website, you're just going to look under, their programs and find the program, and it's a 700 or 755 hour program. It takes about 1.5 years, I think it is, or something like that. But yeah, it's and you can become a certified clinical hypnotherapist.
Sweet, that's awesome.
You're not
Thank
going to
you.
learn the same thing that you would in Dolores Cannon's program. I've looked that up, but you're going to get a really good, education on how to do hypnotherapy, and you could totally do past. It actually teaches you past life regression and all different modalities of help people with addiction and all kinds of stuff.
Do you know how much it costs without student aid?
I can't remember. It's maybe $10,000. I don't remember.
Ouch.
I can't remember. I could be totally wrong. But I would guess loans.
What was $10,000?
The course?
The program might have been, but that's why you want to get financial aid. I don't know. I
can't get financial aid. I'm $33,000 in debt for nursing school that never panned out for me.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm good on financial aid. Oops. No thanks.
What?
That was a big mistake.
Thank you, Olivia. That's awesome.
It's way more expensive than Dolores Cannon's program. I mean, that program is expensive, but being covered by financial aid, I can't afford to fork over a couple $1,000s for Dolores Cannon's program, but financial aid will cover it, then.
Amen to that. I mean, yeah, if you can get financial aid to cover something, awesome.
And it's a thorough program, so.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm gonna look into that.
That is cool.
I think too that even if you if you even just look up there's so much information online that you can get free. So if you're really careful about how you go about, of course you wouldn't get a certification like Dolores has or like this college has, but you can still learn all that stuff. That's the only mistake with college is that you can be completely educated and and be able to do everything certain people can do, except they have the certificate and you don't, and you have the loans.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, I'm stuck with the loans.
All right, so the program's $5,580.
It should have been $5,555.
Yeah,
And and you said it's
Must
a
not
year
be-
and a half, Olivia?
Huh?
You said it's a year and a half?
Well, I'm looking at it, and actually the clinical hypnotherapy program, no, it's not, it's actually only a 350 hour or 310 hour program, so it really wouldn't take that long, but then that one wouldn't actually qualify for the financial aid. The one to do the financial aid, you would have to pair it with something else, like one of their integrative healing arts practitioner program or their nutrition therapy, or
Okay.
they have mind body wellness practitioner. That one you can do the clinical hypnotherapy in it, and then you're learning other things with it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a really cool school. I mean, because they offer all these really cool different, holistic healing modalities that you can learn. And like I said, a lot of their programs, if they're 700, or I think it's 600 or 700 hours or more, then you can get financial aid.
Yeah, so Kelsey, you got to start a college. She's not there.
Let's see. We'll see if she comes back and.
I'm here. Sorry. Sorry.
I was just saying you should start a college then.
Yes. She has.
Me?
Yeah. Just start a college.
Psychic University, right?
Yep.
Maybe someday. Someday, not yet.
Well, we're not the first students.
Yeah, maybe someday. I used to teach people on an individual setting, and
What are you doing?
I don't know. I like the group setting a lot better. It seems like
And we get free tuition.
make free tuition. Hey, right. You know what? Y'all are onto something. I'd have to hire some people. So let's get into these Akashic records.
Right.
I got some bullet points here. Not exactly as prepared as I should have been. Did you guys watch the little video I made about the Akashic records? Just kind of the basic introduction to what they are, where they came from, yada, yada, yada.
Yes.
You didn't, Meg? Meg, you're slacking.
Look,
It's just a
I've been busy.
It's okay. No worries. No worries.
I'm doing good knowing what day of the week it is today. I have an alarm to tell me what time I have to be here.
Oh, right on.
Are you feeling better, Megan?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
You look beautiful today,
I was just gonna say you look gorgeous.
right?
I was like, I always look a mess. Let me hurry up and put my makeup on.
See, I was the opposite. I was like, I ain't doing nothing.
Like, this chick needs to do makeup tutorials. I've never seen anybody have makeup look so amazing as Meg's. Like, in person, it is just fly. It is amazing looking.
You guys live by each other?
Aw, thank you.
No, we don't. She lives in Michigan.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I know it's Detroit, but Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, Michigan. She lives in Michigan.
Yes.
Meg is my cousin.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yeah, Meg's my cousin. Well, my husband's cousin, which is my cousin.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm trying to get there.
Hi, girls. Hi, Aunt Mamie. I love my Aunt Mamie. Don't tell anybody, but she's my favorite.
I'm telling
Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. But
I'm
you're
posting it on Facebook as soon as we're done.
Yeah.
oh, right. Tag my mother-in-law. She said Aunt Mamie is her favorite. Okay, so the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records is basically a hall, a library of all the information, every single thing that you have ever said, thought, done, will do. Kind of will do. It can change for the future. All right, so
I don't know if I want to see this.
okay, so on that note of everything that we have done, when you go to access your Akashic, okay, let's say for example that I'm walking down the street and I'm going to use a homeless person because this is the same exact example that I have heard, so I'm going to repeat it to you guys. So this person's walking down the street and this homeless person asks them for some money. So what kind of a vibration are you vibing on at that moment? Are you going to give this person some money, or are you just going to keep on walking? So whatever place your mind is in at that moment, if you see this person and you don't give them money and it's because it's out of anger or hate or greed or being snide or something, that kind of a thought process or energy field that you're working in at that moment, that will be connected into your Akashic record, because that is a lesson that you need to go and reevaluate and heal from or learn from, or there's something there that you're going to have to process. But if this homeless person, if you just walk by them and you don't pay them no mind at all, simply because you're just not paying them any mind, that experience most likely will not come back up in your Akashic record because it was just something that wasn't even on your mind. Does that make sense? So the way you react in your human experience to situations will determine what's going to be put into your record. Yeah, right? Does that make sense?
Oh God, I'm screwed.
So, well, no, okay, no.
I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm totally kidding.
I've been a piece of shit also, quite often in my life. So, but there's a reason for it, because we choose to do this to ourselves. We choose to live like this way before we come here and live like this. So all the piece of shit things that I have done in my past, I did them for a purpose, for a reason. And I know it's horrible. And it's kind of disgusting to think about, like, why would I choose to do that? But I'm doing it because they say that the soul loves the drama of the human experience. And that's why we come here and we keep coming back to experience this, because we love the drama of it. We love the excitement of it, right?
I'm over it. And I better not come back again when I die. I'm telling you right now, like, I better be going up and not down.
Well, we get into the part where if you are done with it, if you are done with the drama and like all the, not only the highs but the lows of it, you can go into your Akashic records and you can heal from these experiences that you have experienced. That way you don't have to come back and re-heal or retry to heal or retry to learn these experiences. So you don't have to walk by the homeless person and be a piece of shit to this person, you know? You go in and you heal in these experiences. Gosh, it's like I'm half channeling, half not. I don't know. I'm just kind of like,
This channel.
I'm trying, but I keep stepping out of it. Like I get in it and then I step back out and I'm in, then I'm out, then I'm in, and then I'm out, and stay in it.
Mary said to give the homeless person at least $1.
Give the homeless person at least $1.
That's me. I always give whatever I can.
I have been that homeless person before. Yeah.
I mean, even on my worst days, I probably like homeless people better than regular people.
That was, honestly, I put myself in a position to where I ended up homeless, and it was the best time I have ever had in my entire life. Out of everything I've ever done, that was the best time of my life. Hands down, the best experience I've ever been through. Freeing, yeah. I don't know, there's some sort of a freedom feeling when you're not tied to anything. So this is before kids and all that, but
That's how I feel about my bus. That's how I feel about what the bus is going to do for us. Like,
yeah,
we've wanted to travel forever, and we just, with kids, we were like, oh, we can't do it, but why can't we? I mean, why can't we?
Yeah, why can't you?
There's no reason we can't, so we're doing it.
Yeah.
I just can't wait.
Absolutely.
So how far is the bus?
We are getting the bus hopefully within this month, and it's like 20-30 minutes down the road. This guy has a bunch of them. He gets them from the schools, so for like Virginia school district, North Carolina school districts, and he gets them for really cheap. So we're gonna get the bus for like $4,000.
Cool.
And then we're just gonna, my husband, like, that's what he does. So we're just gonna pull the seats out. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to, like, I'm just so excited about it. But I feel like I just keep talking about it because I'm just kind of trying to talk it into existence. You know what I mean? Because I know it's gonna happen, but patience is one of those things I struggle with. So.
When I was a kid, my mom and my brother's dad, they had a bus. They had a big school bus, and it had bunk beds in it, and it had a dining table and bench seats, and it was
it's
so
gonna
cool.
be the coolest castle in the freaking space bus ever.
Right? And they had a shower off the back of it that was heated by a black bag. Like, it was,
yeah.
It was cool. Okay, so I got these little notes in front of me, and this is how you access your Akashic records. So before you go in and decide that you want to access your Akashic records, you need to make sure that you're in a mindset and you are ready to access these records. Know that when you go into here and you see some certain things, you need to specify, okay, do some meditation, specify your intention, make sure that what you're wanting to go in and find, you're clear about it. You may find some disturbing things, but these disturbing things could help you progress in the life that you're living right now. It could help progress your soul's journey. So just know that before you go in, you might see some things that aren't particularly very nice about yourself. That is very possible. So like I was saying in the last class, you could see that you might have been a murderer in a past life or a rapist in a past life. And that is absolutely possible for you to go in and see that this is who you were in a past life. So be prepared to see the worst of yourself. Because in our soul's journey, we all are going to experience many, many, many different things. Not everybody is like an enlightened, amazing, perfect being. We experience different experiences. I'm saying that word a lot, aren't I? We experience a lot of different experiences because we're meant to learn, because we choose to experience, what is the term? Gosh, I can't think of it. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's say you were a murderer, but you were a nice murderer. How am I going to say this? How am I going to say this?
Like Dexter.
Huh?
Like Dexter.
Like Dexter. So not only were you this, like, not only was he a murderer, but he was a nice guy who had a lot of really good traits about him. But there was a lesson that needed to be learned. And not only was he this bad guy, he was also this really good guy too, right? Just like all of us, you know, there's things that we have done that aren't so great, and that's okay, because there's lessons that need to be learned there. And it's not about how our bad actions were inflicting other people, because those other people have chose to come into this life by this blueprint saying they wanted this to happen to them. Does that make sense? Am I saying this clearly? Is this resonating with you guys? Is this making sense? Yeah? Okay, good. So let's say the person is the murderer, right? Well, the person that gets murdered also chose to have that experience happen to them, right? Okay, so the point of the Akashic Records is for you to go in and see what it is that you haven't learned yet, or what you need to heal from, what kind of information you can access to make your experience better, more enlightened, higher vibrating, so that you don't have to be the person that gets murdered, right? Makes sense? I feel like those are really, really shitty analogies that I'm using, but I don't know how else to say them.
Well, that's like, I'm pretty positive that I was hanged. Like at one point I was probably hanged or strangled or something, because I cannot have anything really tight around my neck for too long. At one point I sold tuxedos. So I was, I took in and measurements and things like that for a dry cleaning and tuxedo place. I had to wear these tuxedos, and when, I don't know how men do it, because these ties are so tight around the, I mean, it was an hour in and I'm like, oh my God, get this thing off of me. Like I felt like it was strangling me. And I've always been like that. I don't like people, like my husband, I love him, and even when he's being sincere, I don't like him to touch my face. I don't like hands in my face. Like I don't know. It's just, and I feel sometimes like I'm rude, but I'm like, babe, just please don't touch me in my face. I don't like it in my face. That's it. And in my neck, I'm convinced that at one point, probably in a past life, I was hanged. So I don't know if that's true, but I know that
Maybe.
It's something.
So that's a good example. So that would be something that you would want to go in and you would want to access, and that would be a area that you'd want to heal from.
Do we go through that same experience again?
No, I haven't heard anybody say that they re-experienced the experience. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that. It's like.
What do you mean? What experience?
Like you being.
What are you being hanged?
You access it. Would you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody say that they've relived it before.
Well, no, I don't think you relive it, but I think you carry fears into, you know what I mean? Like snakes or heights or certain things. Like they say that these fears sometimes that are very relevant, but you're not really sure why you're scared of them. They say that sometimes they could come from a past life memory or something that's instilled in your soul, you know? So I don't know. Again, I don't really know how much truth there is to that, but it makes sense.
Right. I haven't heard that people re-experience that experience though. But when you go in and access your records, you gain that knowledge of that happening, and you're able to process it and work through it. And that way it doesn't affect you anymore. So if Pam was to go into her records and see that experience, she'd be able to process that. She'd be able to ask for healing from her spirit team or her ascended masters or the angelic realm to help her heal from that experience. That way that she could wear bow ties again or whatever. And it wouldn't bother her anymore, you know? Like if that's what she wanted to do. Like, I don't like it around my neck. Well, let's figure out what that is. Access the record. Oh, I was hanged. Let's heal. Okay, now I'm good. Right? Hi, Pam. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
Right? I know.
How are you?
I'm good. Are we all on, like, voice? I don't know.
Yeah, we are. Unless it's
Hi, everyone.
Loud in your background.
Hi.
Hello.
We're talking about the Akashic
Megan.
Records today.
Yeah, I know I'm late getting on. I didn't know if I should jump in or not, or if I should just watch the replay, but.
Well, I feel like the replay is going to be like an hour of us just talking.
Oh, okay.
Kind of just been a really long conversation. It's been good, though. Yeah, you can catch the replay. Just to touch base with you a little bit about the Akashic Records, I'm not an expert on them, so I'm just speaking from the limited bit of knowledge that I do have. So this is really just like a group discussion of what we all collectively know about it. I've done some research and come up with a little bit, but I'm not an expert. So.
Well, I don't even know what they are, so I would be interested to watch the replay to get to find out what they are. So I did not even research. I was just like, I'm just gonna listen to you guys and figure out what it is.
Two of us.
I think you jumped in at a good time.
Yeah, you did. So the Akashic Records is like the Hall of Knowledge, like the Book of Life that, like Christians say, when you die and you go see St. Peter at the gates, and he looks through the Book of Life to see whether you can gain entrance or not. It's similar to that. It's just a record. It's a hall of records of everything that your soul has ever experienced. Okay. That is meaningful. So they say that every thought, every action, every deed, every single thing is in there. But I personally believe that it's only the ones that are relevant to our soul's purpose that are in there. So for instance, if I think, oh, hey, I want a Twizzler, that's not going to be in there because it has no valid purpose in my life.
So are you trying to help us access that? Like,
yeah, the goal is for us to gain knowledge of what the records are, what we can use them for, and then how to access them.
Okay, cool. All right, I will let you continue.
Cool. Okay, where were we? Oh, okay, so we talked about the intention. So before you go into your records, make sure you have the intention of what you're wanting to go in and see. I say for starters, just tell your spirit team, hey, I just want to confirm that the Akashic Records are real. Let that be a really good starting point. And I think that would be a really good place to start with the Akashic Records, just to confirm that they are even real. Because when you go into it, let's say it's like being the new person at school. When you go into the classroom, everybody's new, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what anything's going to look like. It's all kind of strange. You're not sure what's going on. So before you go in and like, okay, hey, let's heal my entire life, just get a good understanding of the fact that they exist. That's what I would suggest doing to begin with. And this may take one time, weeks, months. Some people can access it the very first time. Some people access it by accident. Some people, it takes a longer amount of time to gain entrance. Good? Okay. I'm sorry. Hold on. It sounds like my roof is caving in.
Ouch, run.
It's raining like crazy here. I wish it was sunshiny here like you, Pam.
Yes, I have to get my vitamin D for the day.
Right on. Okay, so when you guys are trying to access your records, this is going to include you going into a meditative state. So it's going to be like a dream-like state, almost like a daydream or a trance-like state. So you guys have to have a good idea of what meditation is first. Does everybody already meditate? Is anybody not meditating yet? Are we all okay on that? Cool. Gosh. Well, I guess I'll get my son one way or another, even if it is through a computer screen, huh?
I'm sorry. We've had a lot of rain too, so
Yeah.
I'm happy to get out here and have no clouds. So.
Awesome. Okay.
I'm maybe wondering, like, what you can do if you were saying, what are some of the things you can do when you access them?
When you access them, this is when I would say that you ask your spirit guide to show you where you should go. Ask for assistance. Have your spirit guide or team or whoever it is you communicate with when you're meditating, have them show you where to go. Ask them to take you to where you need to be taken, show you what it is that you need to see. They're not going to steer you wrong. They come from a place of love and light, and they're going to direct you. They're going to direct you. I would say don't go in and just go in and be like careless and just try to access everything. You're not going to be able to access stuff that you're not ready to access. So as you go through a guided meditation, just have your spirit guide take you where you need to go.
Right. I just meant like what are some of the things you can do, like obtain healing, you said.
Yeah. You can obtain healing, you can obtain knowledge of like what kind of route you need to take for the future. Like it's almost just like when you're asking like your pendulum or your cards, kind of, hey, what do I need to do for tomorrow? You're going to do the same thing in your Akashic records, except you're going to gain access in a visual kind of state, a meditative state, to information.
Again, some people think like Tesla and Einstein and all these just brilliant people got their answers there.
Right. Well, have you heard of Edgar Cayce?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's like a modern day prophet, early 1900s prophet. He was like the sleeping prophet, and that's kind of along the same lines of what you guys are going to be doing.
Yeah.
Meditating in a sleep-like state and accessing information, esoteric information.
Just
were there oh, sorry, go ahead, Sabrina.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to ask quick if there were specific guided meditations that you wanted us to do, or just do whatever we feel comfortable with.
I'm going to try to come up with one for you guys. If you guys want to just go on YouTube and look for one, feel free. That's awesome too. Whatever you guys want to do. I've heard a couple that they were all right. I don't know. I haven't really done a lot of research on them, but I'm going to try to come up with one for you guys over this next week. I'm going to see what I can come up with and just have one ready for you guys, so that I guess collectively we can all kind of share the same experience. I feel like that would work best. Usually I just talk somebody through it. So if you would prefer that we do it on the phone in a one-on-one, I can do that. Like, I'm really good at that. But
okay.
If you want that, just message me and we can just do a phone guided meditation.
I like having like a recording. So like if I want to try it again and see if I get different results, that to me I think is like, that's ideal.
Okay, cool. That's what I'll do then. I'll do a guided meditation for you guys.
Yeah, I have like the most luck with guided meditations for right now anyway, that they really help me the most.
Okay.
Kelsey, I'm gonna take you up on that. I think I'd like to do a one-on-one phone.
A one-on-one? Okay, cool.
Try it for the first time.
All right, awesome. We can do that. Yeah, we can do that. Maybe I can just record me while I'm doing it for you, for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like. Okay, yeah, that'll work. They're telling me just do the guided meditation. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so are you guys have a good understanding of what the records are at this point? So it's pretty basic. Like, that's what they are. It's the records. It's the record of your life, everything you've done, and you can access it and find out everything that you've been through. And your spirit team, the Ascended Masters, the angels are going to help you heal from past experiences so that you can live your best life. But you can't access it until you access it. 1111.
It's here.
Yeah, it's 12 here.
Must be true.
It's 1:11 here.
Oh, wow. Isn't that wild? It's like tomorrow in Australia.
And yesterday, no.
Yesterday in our records.
So this is kind of a tangent, but with Einstein, like this might help with the doubts, okay? So, because I know you guys have talked about doubts before. Well, one thing is when I was a kid, because I didn't exactly excel with everyone, if you know what I mean. And they would feel really stupid most of the time. So one thing that really changed me was knowing that Einstein actually failed algebra. So just things like that are really helpful when you're feeling doubt, is look look at so many examples of people that they come across kind of like a genius, but if they were studying like things that we were forced to study in school or things like that, even the people who created the internet, they dropped out of like a high ranking college to create the internet. So just remember, anytime you're having any kind of doubt of what you're doing, that you're not the first person to feel like, I can't do this. That's impossible. I'm not a genius. I'm not smart. Just remember that a lot of people that thought the same things ended up like the most important people to our history and everything else. So that was just one thing this week that, since Mitch mentioned Einstein, I just wanted to share that with you guys quick.
He also didn't speak any words, I believe, until he was like 6.
Yeah, that's right. He didn't talk for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, he was, what was it him? He was what's that called when you can't read?
No.
What is that?
Dyslexia?
Yes. It was either him or some other famous scientist was actually dyslexic. Or it was one of that became president. Maybe it was Benjamin Franklin. One of them even knew like how to help people with dyslexia and stuff. So yeah. So don't doubt yourself.
Another thing you'll be able to access in your records is ways to. It'll be like universal downloads of information to help you along your path. So, for instance, if you want to be more enlightened, you'll be able to access information that'll help you become more awake, more enlightened, more aware of the spiritual side of things. So it doesn't only help you heal from past traumas, but it helps you to...
On your journey, I guess. Right?
Why is your TV on your ceiling?
Because they don't know how to hang a TV right.
I can't.
He's in another dimension.
It's not really on my ceiling.
Let's see.
It's like being at the dentist office.
Right.
Just recline back and watch.
So,
I don't normally sit out here to watch TV. Because it's literally like laying back and watching TV.
Josh is here. So, another thing that you can access from my husband. Another thing you can access from the records is ways to help you along your soul's journey in this life. Cheyenne.
So, something that I personally, I'm just trying to use this as an example, something that I personally want to try to get better at is not taking things personally. So one thing, because I'm such a caring person and I love everybody so much, it's hard for me to not take something personally if something's said the wrong way or presented a certain way. And I just need to get really a lot better at just not, having any emotions attached to it. So one thing that I'm going to personally do is I'm going to set an intention, like, please help me to not take things so personally. That's something that I want to, whatever I need to release there. I hold a lot of guilt and I take things personally. And those two things I really, really want to release, and I'm not having success on my own. So this is something that I'm going to ask for.
Right. Yeah. That is that's a good way of setting your intention and being specific of what you're wanting to work on.
Doesn't that have something to do with ego, Kelsey? Like, I know it sounds weird, but I remember reading about ego in like one of Kyle Gray's books, and I was like, oh my God, that, like, to me, ego is like, oh, you're so full of yourself, you think you're better than others. And then when I was reading his explanation,
that excludes you from everybody else, that makes you better or worse than everybody else, that's ego. Yeah. That is definitely
Yeah,
ego.
it was, I mean, his explanation of it was like spot on me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I do have it. I was like, oh no, like, because I do take things personal. And I've had to work on that too, Pam, like just kind of like letting that go. Like that's their belief of me. I know what I am. I know how I feel.
That's their issue.
And it's hard. It's like a process. I mean, it's really difficult.
Because I have accepted that there are, and every person that I've crossed paths with knows a different version of me. And also I have accepted that my version of myself is far different from anybody else. I mean, even my husband and things, people that we're close to. And I've accepted that. What's still hard for me to accept is like so I'm just gonna use an example. So say my husband has a bad day. He comes in the door and his demeanor is he's had a shitty day, and I feel his energy. Like I can pick up on it, and for me it's very hard not to just float right into that negative energy with him. And I'm just so I'll be like, what's the matter? And if he says nothing, I'm like, well, what's wrong? What did I do? Da, 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 da. And it has nothing to do with me. And I know that, but knowing it and practicing it, different things. You know? So
well, that's where like what Kelsey taught me was that's where asking Archangel Michael to like protect you from all the negative. And like every time I take a phone call with my mom, she's very negative. She drags me down, and I'm like, Archangel Michael, like be with me. Like I need you to be here right now.
It must be a Pam thing. It must be a Pam thing. Because I have to do that with my mother too. I'm away from my mom for a reason.
Right. And I think that's why we feel guilty, because I live far away from her too. And I get these phone calls like, well, if you were here, you could help. And I'm like, but I'm not. I can't be there. So,
right? Stop making me feel bad about it.
Right. Exactly. But she just loves to make me feel bad.
Yes. And you know what? That's one thing that I had to accept too, because my mother does the same thing. And I had to accept, like, it's about her. It's about her jealousy, her own insecurities, her own flaws. And my mom, she'll never self-reflect. So I had to come to a point where I was like, okay, I'm setting these boundaries, and if she can't respect them, she doesn't get to be in my life. And I had to cut her out of my life for almost a year. I just completely, I cut her off.
That means you're an empath. That means you're an empath. And Kelsey just maybe it wasn't recent, but it popped up on mine like yesterday, that post from Kelsey about if you're an empath. And you have to find a way to clear everybody else's energy and find your inner self. And you know, one thing Jennifer always I don't know if you guys all know Jennifer, but she always said, you can pray, you can say, if it's not me, let it leave. If it's not me, let it leave. So that helps too. But definitely look into being an empath. If you haven't already, you probably have.
Oh yeah.
It's your empathy though, when your husband comes in and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm so crabby now because he just made me so crabby.
Well, empaths are really codependent also. Like, we'll feel other people's emotions, and then we also feel the need to fix it, because subconsciously we know that subconsciously we're feeling their emotions, so we want to fix that emotion so that we don't feel that emotion, so that you have to learn how to detach yourself from everybody else's feelings. So that you're not trying to fix everybody else's feelings, and everybody else's feelings aren't your problem anymore. You know, it's to the core of it is you just have to close your chakra off so that you don't have to feel everybody else's stuff.
I'm getting better at it, but you know, I still have hurdles to go. You know,
practice that crowd surfing that I talk about. Practice that. The more you practice it, the better you're going to get at it. Just exercises. Force yourself to experience it so you can experience shutting it off also. And the more you do that, the better you're going to get at it. The better
I have to do it because I'm a DJ for karaoke, so hanging out with a bunch of drunk people all night. And you know, the key to that, what I've learned too, is like the key to that is you just have to, like you said, you have to shut it off. You have to not absorb it, but you have to keep your vibrations high, because if you do not, then the negative will come to you. And in a setting where we're in a bar and we're doing the karaoke gigs, it's very easy for one person, like not last night, but Wednesday night. It was a great night. We had great vibes all night long. Our vibrations were high. There was one lady at the end of the night. There was two ladies actually, but they were just very the aura was just like black. I don't know how else to explain it. They were just negative, negative, negative. And I looked at my husband and I said, I might have to walk away because this is a little too much, but overall it was still good because I just kept my vibrations high and I said, it has nothing to do with me. She's obviously got her own shit. It has nothing to do with me. And I think the hardest part for me, but here's where I still struggle, because I can do that, but the minute they come up to me and they're like da 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 da, and they're right in my face and they're negative and their energy is right there, I'm like it's like I feel like saging them. But you can't. So
sage out of your pocket and light it in front of them.
Or creating a bubble around you to protect yourself.
Yeah, but it's hard.
Stephanie does that. Stephanie will create that bubble around herself, and she says that's what works for her when she meets, when she's trying to sell homes or whatever, anywhere she's at, that she'll create that protective bubble of light around her.
Yeah.
That's what she does. It's really about the visualization. It's really just visualization. Everything. I feel like all of it is really about visualizing what you're wanting, visualizing what you're trying to make happen or create.
I'm sorry. Did you guys hear that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I heard
Okay, sorry.
So, okay, what I'm going to ask for you guys to do going into this next week about the Akashic Records is I want you to do some meditation and try to set intentions and try to come up with what it is you're going to want to do. Basically, the challenge is to just ask for proof that they exist. Just leave it at that. Just ask for proof that they exist within your meditation. So before we actually access the records and what's inside them themselves, we're just going to try to gain access to the fact that they are there. Does that make sense?
Kelsey.
Yes.
I'm gonna do that one by myself, and then I'm gonna do find a YouTube guided meditation to do just the proof one, and then after I do that, I'm gonna contact you, and I'd like to do the
guided with me. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's what I want you guys to just start off with, is just accessing the fact that they exist. Because like I was saying, it's like going to a new school. You don't know anything about it or what it looks like or who's going to be there or anything like that. So you kind of want to get over that first introductory experience.
That was always my worst. That's been one of my most nerve-wracking moments, is when you're walking into that. That was a great example, because when you're walking into a new classroom or your college or anything where you're the new kid, it's very overwhelming. For me, it's very nerve-wracking. And then the first time I ever got on a stage, I got sick. It was bad. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. But then once I'm up there, it's like my husband's like, you're like a butterfly. You just transform, But I transform because the people's energy helps me to transform. It's like I doubt myself and I get in my head and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna suck. If they leave, it's because I suck. And that's not the truth, but that's what I've created, because that's what I get nervous about. And then when I get up there and I get the interactions of the people and their vibrations are like, oh my God, you're awesome. I'm like, oh, I guess I am awesome. But it takes that, it's like that validation thing. And I don't necessarily need the validation, but it helps me to get to where I need to be once I'm on that stage.
It makes you feel more confident.
Yeah, it's the energy, and it's all about the energy. So there was one time where there was nobody in the bar. We had this gig, and it was really early. There's 3 bands. I think we were like the first one. We were getting ready to go on the stage. I went on the stage. Everything was okay, but I wasn't getting into it. And my husband's like, what's the matter? And I said, I don't know. When we got on stage, there was 5 people in the audience. And when we got on stage, they all disappeared. So I was like, it's because I suck. And he's like, no, it's because they're smokers. They were going out to smoke. And I was like,
But you internalized it because
but that's what I do. Most people, they'll go, well, this person does that, and da-da-da-da. Not me. I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just do that? I did that. And I beat myself up. I'm not the one to project on everybody else. I project on myself, and I'm getting better. I've come a long way, but there's still these certain things that just you've done your whole life, and it's hard to redirect. So
you will be able to fix that by accessing that part of your record of why you do that. That could be one thing, like what intention and being specific, like why am I like this and how can I fix this and overcome this? That'll be something that you can access.
So I just want last thing I'm going to share with you guys, and it's just a little thing that I do. If you're someone that struggles with kind of negative thought processes, or you find yourself going to the like, oh, why did I do that? Oh, I'm so like, if you like one thing that and it took me 10 years to get to the point where I just don't say, I will not say I'm so stupid, because there are enough people in the world that will think you're stupid. You cannot think you're stupid. You cannot say that about yourself, because there are enough other people that are going to say that about you.
Mm-hmm.
So I find what I've been doing, and it sounds so corny when I say it out loud, but if I find in my head that I'm replaying something that's not necessarily pleasant, that I don't really need to be dwelling on, I'll just redirect and I'll close my eyes and I go, I am abundant. A river of wealth flows to me. I go to that, or if it's just something negative and I'm trying to redirect, I'll go thankful, grateful, blessed, thankful, grateful, blessed, and I just redirect to gratitude. And for me, it's really been beneficial, and it's becoming a lot easier to redirect my thoughts, but not without challenges and trying. I mean, I still have to do it every day. This is what I tell my friend. It's kind of like being an addict. You have to wake up every day and you have to choose to be happy. You have to choose to make the right decision. Even when things are bad and they're in your face and you're like, I'm crying, it's a mess. My cat just died, and my grandmother's on her death. I mean, you're gonna have shitty days. You just have to realize, and this is I'm telling myself, I'm sorry, honey. I didn't mean to say that. When I said it, I meant to say dog. I don't know why I said cat. But it's hard. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's something that I myself, and I'm sure as humans and as empaths, for sure, it's something that you just have to keep doing. And I don't know. I'm saying that to you as I'm saying it to myself as well. So.
Yep, a reminder.
I'm sorry, Kelsey. I meant to say dog. I don't know why I said that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. My last cat that died didn't die, so I'm kind of okay now.
Good.
Yeah.
It goes back to your clair abilities too, though. You can practice, because being an empath, you're going to pick up energy, but there's a reason for that. So if that's happening, and as long as it's your ability, so like when you go in a room and you're insecure, like, oh my gosh, everybody's gonna see this big red scarlet letter on my head, but then instead try to change your thought process, like, okay, why am I feeling this way, and try to think to yourself, like, pick up on that clair ability, or clair whatever there's sentience is it with the empath, where pick up on what people are, is struggling with this, or you have the ability as an empath for a reason why you're picking up that energy. So it's not always negative. That's an ability that you can use to actually help people, and you can heal the room. If you're only seeking out the people that have positive energy, generally you'll find that there's other empaths there too. You know what I mean? Am I even making sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What?
I'm circling your head.
Can you see me?
Yeah. My husband's hanging out with us.
What's wrong?
He wants to be in the group. You know he does.
Oh, he is. He already is.
Are you excited to know that he's an alien?
What? Oh, these are all my alien friends, babe.
I don't know.
You're hiding.
His alien cousin.
Right? Oh, that still cracks me up.
Where were you? Where were you? Where were you?
So what do we think? Everybody good on the basic of Akashic records? Yes, just do your meditation and just ask for confirmation that they're real. That's what I say for this week. Just ask for confirmation that they're real. And then when you do this, post in the group, if you can. Post in the group your experience and what you saw, what you didn't see, if you didn't see anything, if you were interrupted and weren't able to actually get through your meditation, like anything, any experience that you have, whatever experience you have, try to be as detailed as possible and post it in the group so everybody else can kind of have a reference to go on for like what they experienced. Meg. She's like,
if anybody finds like a good meditation.
Yeah.
I was just, if anyone finds one on YouTube, like post it so we can all kind of share in it.
The ones I've tried or looked at aren't that great necessarily.
You know, that's how I felt too. There was a few I've looked at on YouTube and none of them were really that,
Right?
Yeah. I've done some search too and I was just like, not really, not my thing. Yeah. So, yeah, if anybody does have any good ones that they do find, please post it because I haven't found them.
Please, you guys start posting more in the group so I don't feel like I'm the only one talking. Like, please just post. I'll read it. If I don't have time, I won't. But
that's funny. We love all your talking.
Yep. So don't worry.
Yeah, keep on posting, girl. It's fine. So yeah, that's the challenge for this week is just confirm that they're real. That's it.
Okay, real quick. You guys I'm just going to show you some sunshine, and I hope I don't lose you, but here.
Oh, sunshine. Yeah, I want sunshine. How do
Sunshine and water. This is my my husband's building our deck. They came to fix our deck, and they tore it all off, and they weren't supposed to. So my husband's in the process of rebuilding our deck. Here we go. Here, ready?
Oh, nice.
Oh, pretty.
This is my yard.
She's giving that up to live on a bus.
Yeah? Why?
Oh my gosh.
Right? Uh-oh.
Where is she?
You guys pick up on anything?
all I'm seeing is the sky.
There we go. That's beautiful.
Can you see it still or no?
Barely.
When I go out on the porch, my internet messes up when I go out there. So
For candy? It's in the fridge.
Twizzlers?
Yeah.
yes, I'm giving it up for a bus because I'm gonna have that like all over the world.
Yeah, right? That's awesome.
There's no parking at the beach.
What's that?
I said, there's no parking at the beach. No parking spaces. I'm teasing.
I told you the fridge.
Are we good, you guys?
I'm good.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end recording.